campaign with the Alaska governor. Filmmaker John Ziegler, who slammed Kirk's interviews as unfair in a recent documentary, went to the event and ended up in handcuffs.
Escort me based upon... No, you're not. You're not going to escort me. This is. You guys realize that you're breaking all sorts of constitutional laws. Well, I'm not going to move. This is ridiculous.
Handcuff him and get him.
You're going to. I'm now trying to get my property, which are my movies.
We'll give you property.
I want, sir. Now you're taking my property. This is crazy. Now my wrist is being broken by the security guard, and all I'm trying to do is ask questions of people why they would come to this ceremony to honor Katie Couric for an interview that was not journalism, it was advocacy. This is amazing. This is the country we're now living in, and my wrist is being really hurt dramatically.
Mr. Ziegler, just walk, stop struggling.
I'm not doing anything remotely wrong here. I'm not resisting a damn thing. Go ahead and do whatever you want. I find this absolutely amazing. Yeah. Well, apparently my property. Let go of it. I'll give it to your man. Taking. Let go of it. I'll give it to your man. I'm being now handcuffed for standing on a sidewalk asking questions outside of an award ceremony on journalism excellence. You can't get more irony than this. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. What in the world is going on? This is insane. Why are you doing this? This is ridiculous. I am not going to leave here. I've done nothing wrong.
Ziegler is the director of media malpractice. The film, he says, shows the mistreatment of Governor Palin by the media during the 2008 election. John Ziegler joins us live. John, let me ask a couple quick questions. First of all, were you disturbing the peace or were you trespassing? Either one of those.
No, and I urge people to go to our website where they can see the entire episode in its context at howobamagotElected.com. There's about 20 minutes of video there that's almost real time, and they'll see I did absolutely nothing wrong, Greta.
What provoked this?
I would like to know what provoked this. I happen to believe this was provoked because I wrote an op-ed piece leading up to this award ceremony criticizing the fact that Katie Couric was being rewarded for alleged journalism that I believe was journalism of the type that should have been condemned. And it's very clear that I had a bullseye on my back the moment that I arrived at the event. They had a barricade set up thinking that we were going to protest or something, which I had thought about doing but decided against. And I just was there with a couple of cameras, wanting to ask some questions and wanting people to know what a farce this award was and how dangerous this was for the industry of journalism. So I don't really understand what their rationale was. And clearly, in the end, after telling me I was arrested and I was going to be booked, after deciding that let me go as long as I left the premises, clearly they knew that I had done nothing wrong.
Well, were any journalists allowed to cover this event? Because, I mean, obviously it seems a little peculiar that you would have journalism awards and you would expect that journalists could cover it. Were other journalists allowed in there?
Yes, I asked that question, Greta, and I was told that only media outlets that had been invited by the award winners could be inside this event. And of course, we have the ultimate irony where Katie Couric is getting an award for her Sarah Palin interview at the very same moment where I'm trying to give people copies of my Sarah Palin interview who are entering the event so they'll know what a lie a Couric interview really was. And I can't do it literally because my arms are behind my back, handcuffed. I was shocked and amused at this at first, Greta, but now I'm angered and saddened. And this really doesn't have that much to do with me. I think this is about what's going on in this country and how things that were once unthinkable are now happening in almost in ordinary ways and are becoming acceptable. There ought to be great outrage about this, regardless of the political persuasion of the person who's simply there asking questions. And, of course, this is about journalism, which is absurd.
All right, so I understand. Okay, so you were on the invited journalist, which is to a journalist event, I take it that you weren't trying to force your way in. Were you standing out on the sidewalk, and did they then say, you know, you got to go, and you didn't go, so they handcuffed you? Is that what happened?
Well, Greta, it's an important point to make. I was told I was not allowed to go in the building. I never tried to go in the building. So I said, okay, I'm going to stand outside, and I'm going to give copies of my movie, Media Malpractice, to anyone who enters, because I want them to know the truth of how ridiculous this Katie Couric Award for the Sarah Palin interview was. I was on a sidewalk, away from anybody. There was no way I was blocking anybody's path. And I was refusing to move to where they wanted me, which would have been in a place where I couldn't have spoken to anybody or done anything at all, which was clearly an attempt to try to minimize me. I did nothing wrong, and I'm being told that I should pursue my legal rights, and I'm thinking very strongly about doing so.
I was just going to give you some free legal advice, because I saw the full tape and saw the marks on your wrist from the handcuffs. I was going to say, go find yourself a lawyer to explore it. John, that's your free legal advice for coming on tonight. Not everybody gets it, but anyway, John, thank you.
Thank you, Greta. HowObamaGotElected.com.
Up next, a terrifying and violent mystery is